So yesterday we started with 64 angas of bhakti. So we saw in detail each angas, 20 and first 20 primary angas of bhakti. Guru Padasraya, taking shelter of Guru. Then we saw Tasmat. Then after initiation, acquiring knowledge, service to Guru, and Sadhu Vartman Anuvartante, following the rules according to the scriptures as approved by the Acharyas. Then Sadharma Prucha, inquire about the real duties of the life. Then we saw that accepting only what is necessary in dealings with the body. Then Sangha Tyago, giving up the association of those opposed to the Lord, and not being attached to making so many disciples. Then we also discuss about constructing many temples, reading many books, then avoiding the study of useless books in order to earn a living or to defeat others in useless argument, straightforward in ordinary dealings, and equilibrium in loss and gain. So we saw that. Okay. So then giving the respect to the Amalaki tree, Aswatha, and other items. So we saw all those things. So purpose. So this is this is mentioned specifically for sadhana bhakti. The essence of sadhana bhakti, and what is the essence of sadhana bhakti? Is to fix the mind on Krishna. And if you want to fix the mind on Krishna, then there are something. So it is said, as of now, if you see, we had seen that 20 angas of bhakti. So first 10 are pravrutti, what you should do, and second 10 are nivrutti, what you should refrain from, what you should not do. So these are now while performing sadhana bhakti, what happened? Sometimes we commit aprad. Okay, so an offense is that, and what that aprad offense is something that takes the mind away from Krishna by minimizing its importance. So what happened when a person repeatedly commit the offenses, then he lose the taste in holy name of the Lord. So we should be very, very careful. So once upon a time, Rupa Goswami, he was in trance. He was sitting somewhere and he was seeing the Leela of Radha and Krishna. So one person who was handicapped, means he was not able to walk properly, was passing from there. And in trance, in Leela, Rupa Goswami saw something that, when Radharani hold the twigs of the tree, Krishna left it, so Radharani was lifted up. And Rupa Goswami laughed. And that handicapped person thought that Rupa Goswami is laughing on him. And suddenly, that Rupa Goswami's meditation was broken, that he was observing the pastime of Radha and Krishna, and that was broken now. And he could not understand. Then he suddenly comes to Sanatana Goswami and asks him that why suddenly the pastimes of Radha and Krishna disappeared from his mind. So then after that, then Sanatana Goswami asked him that, did you offend anyone? So Rupa Goswami says, no, I didn't offend. At least knowingly didn't offend. So then he asked, did you offend anyone unknowingly? So then he said, he don't know. So then Sanatana Goswami told him, okay, you might have offended someone unknowingly. And if you don't know that person, let's hold the feast in Vrindavan. So they hold that feast. And then he said, if someone doesn't come in on your invitation, then you should understand that that person has been offended. So after holding that feast, what happened that I think almost everyone came, one person did not come. Then Rupa Goswami understood that that person has been offended. So Rupa Goswami went there and asked him that, why did you feel offended? Then he narrated that he was passing and Rupa Goswami was laughing. He thought that he is laughing on his poor situation. Then Rupa Goswami begged the forgiveness and he clarified the situation. So that is the point of offense. So sin and offense is different thing. So if you repeatedly commit sin on the strength of holy name, then it can be considered as aparad. That is the seventh offense, that commit the sinful activity on the strength of holy name of the Lord. So we think that okay, I'm chanting holy name and sin will go away. So if we chant with that intention to counteract the sinful reaction of sinful activity, that is called offense. So there are different offenses which person commits. So they are categorized in the seva aparad, offense in the deity worship, then nama aparad, offense in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Okay, so in this chapter, chapter 8, Rupa Goswami talks about both offense against the holy name of the Lord and offense against the deity worship. So in the Vedic literature, there is a following list of 32 offenses in the matter of serving the Lord. So it is said that one should not enter the temple. So first we are going to discuss about offenses in the deity worship. So before we start that, let's go through what is the importance of deity worship. I think I already discussed this earlier, but I'll mention once again. So what is the relative importance of it? Seva aparad is less serious than nam aparad. Because why? So aparad in the seva aparad, it comes specifically while worshipping the deity. So seva aparad is less serious than nam aparad because the power of the holy name automatically corrects the offensive mentality generated by seva aparad. So by chanting holy name, we can counteract, automatically correct the offensive mentality generated by seva aparad. So that is the point. So holy name can counteract. So this does not mean that one may be neglectful in deity worship, knowing that the holy name will save him. So it doesn't mean that you should, okay, aparad to hota hai, by chanting it will go away. So we should deliberately, we should try to avoid the offenses with deliberate intelligence. That is what the point, that we should not, okay, it will be counteracted by on the strength of holy name, so we should continue. No, it's not that. We should refrain. Just like when someone chant, if someone break 4 regulative principle, so breaking 4 regulative principle means you are committing the sin. It's not aparad. It's, of course, when we have taken a vow in front of Guru, so we don't follow the vow, then it can be considered as this is sinful. Okay, so sin can be counteracted by the holy name of the Lord, but we should not chant with the mentality to counteract the sinful reaction. Okay, to counteract the sinful reaction, we should not chant with that mentality. And of course, okay, we should not chant with that mentality, and after chanting, we should even stop committing the sin. That's why during the initiation time, we take a vow that we will chant 16 round, minimum 16 round daily, and will follow regulative principle. So of course, by initiation, the reaction of sinful activity has been nullified. But so the reaction has been nullified, but mentality is not yet changed. So to correct that mentality, so in the name of vow, that it is said that will not end up in meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication, and all those things. So that we can refrain from sinful reaction and again incur reaction of sinful activity. So that's why we take a vow during the initiation. Of course, when someone commits a sinful activity, by regular chanting, the reaction will go away. it happened accidentally, not deliberately. Okay, but if you commit nam aparad, then it is different thing. It's aparad is different thing. And even the seva aparad can also be counteracted by chanting the holy name. But we should not do with that mentality. So it's counteract doesn't mean that we have to continue committing the offenses. Okay. So employing the holy name like a rag to mop up the filth of one's sins is an offense to the holy name. So deliverance from which is very difficult. So if you continue doing on the strength of holy name, then itself will become offense. Okay. So chanting will eradicate sin, but so as I mentioned, if someone breaks the regulative principle, the sin of breaking the regulative principle will be eradicated by chanting. But if one offends the holy name, no chance of being delivered. Okay. So it is somewhere it is said that if you commit the offenses against the holy name, that can be counteracted by chanting only. But if you offense the Vaishnava, then you have to beg the forgiveness of that Vaishnava only. You cannot counteract the Vaishnava aparad by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Okay. So that's why the offense is very, very important to take. We should be very careful not to commit the offenses. That is all the chapter 8 about offenses to be avoided. So he says, Rup Goswami says, Sevanam apradhanam varjanam yatha varahe mam archan apradhaye kirtayante vasudemaya Vaishnave sada tetu varjanya prayatnatah. So avoiding seva and nam aprad illustrated in the Varha Purana. Devotees should avoid the offenses in deity worship described by me, O earth, at all times and with great care. We should try to avoid. So then this is described in the Padma Puran that a person who commits all offenses, seva aprad, free from all those offenses by taking the complete shelter of Hari. If someone commits the seva aprad, he can take the shelter of Lord Hari. Okay. Then two-legged animal who commit offenses against Hari, taking shelter of Hari's name. Though the name is the friend of all, by committing an offenses against the name, persons fall to the lower region. So if we do commit of seva aprad, then we can take the shelter of Lord Hari. Now, two-legged animal means if human commits the offenses against the Hari, then take the shelter of holy name. So if someone commits the offense against Lord, then even the holy name is more merciful than Lord. So we should take the holy shelter of holy name of the Lord. Okay. So if someone commits the offenses against the holy name of the Lord, then a person falls to the lower region. So we should be very, very careful about committing the holy name of the Lord. Now, what is the significance of deity worship? That is mentioned here. That before we go to deity worship, seva aprad, offenses in deity worship, that we'll start with benefits of deity worship. Okay, so what is deity? So the form of the Lord as worship in the temple is called Archa Vigraha or Archa Avatar. Okay, the worshipable form, the deity incarnation. The deity form is the spiritual form of the Lord visible to our material eyes so that we can serve Him and awaken love for Him. Now the question comes, why the Lord has given a deity? Lord has given a deity because Lord is completely spiritual and we are also spiritual, but we are covered by material body. So through this, because of this covering, we are not able to see the spiritual form of the Lord. So what happened that if you are not able to see the spiritual form of the Lord, then we make an interface. Just like, there is interface. Interface means, hope you understand that interface means, or you can say there is interpreter. So suppose I know English, someone knows Marathi. And then, if you want to interact, I want to interact with some Marathi, then I need interpreter. So interface. So deity is the form. So I am materially covered and Lord is spiritual. So I cannot perceive the Lord directly. So I need the interface. So deity is that interface. So Lord has become merciful and given a deity form so that he can accept the service from us and directly bestow his mercy on the people. So that's why he has come in the deity form. Okay. So the deity form is the spiritual form of the Lord visible to our material eyes. So this form is, we cannot directly see the spiritual form of the Lord. So that's why Lord has appeared in such a form that our material eyes can see him, so that we can serve him and awaken love for him. So all neophyte must therefore engage in the worship of the Lord by keeping the Archa Vigraha at home or in the temple. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. So I'm really sorry. So many acharyas worship, just like Madhvacharya worship Udupi Krishna. Sanatan Goswami worship Madan Mohan. Then Rup Goswami worship Radha Govind Dev. Gopal Bhatt Goswami worship Radha Raman. Okay, so this is Madhvacharya who worship Udupi Krishna. Then Ramanujacharya worship Ranganath. Sometime we'll go to South India Yatra. So he worshipped Ranganath. So Ranganath is the deity personally given by Lord Ramchandra to Vibhishan. Then deity stayed there only. Then Sankaracharya worshipped Badri Vishal. I don't know how many of you had been to Badrinath, but I had been. So it's wonderful deity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worshipped Jagannath. Okay. So what is the benefit of worshipping deity? So God is spirit, but Krishna revealed in the Bhagavad Gita, matter is his energy. Okay. God is spirit, but as Krishna reveals in the Bhagavad Gita, matter is his energy. Because we cannot perceive spirit in our present condition, Krishna allows us to see him in his deity form made of material element, which is identical to him. So as we already discussed, why Krishna appeared in the deity form. This is the reason. Okay. So hope you understood this thing. So what is the benefit of deity worship? So it purify our vision to see Krishna's spiritual form. So we will be habituated to constantly see the deity. Tangible way to serve God directly in our present state. So we are not able to directly serve the Lord to his spiritual form. So we are serving the deities, and Lord has authorized this thing because this Ranganath deity was personally given by Lord Ramchandra to Vibhishan. If you want the story that takes, so one day, Vibhishan was with Lord Ramchandra, and he told, "Oh Lord Ramchandra, why don't you come and stay in Lanka? So then you just come and stay there. I will take care of everything." So Ramchandra says, "I cannot do because I have duty for Ayodhya." But he said, "I am giving you deity." So he gave her Ranganath to Vibhishan. So Vibhishan was carrying this deity to Lanka, and when he reached to the area of Trivandrum, not Trivandrum, Tiruchirappalli, Trichy. Trivandrum is Anant Padmanabh. So in Tiruchirappalli, he put the deity. He wanted to go for nature's call. Okay. So then when he went for nature's call, so many people came from South India. South Indian people, they started worshipping deity, offering so many foods. So they offer so much food to the Lord, so much food, so much food. Okay, Lord started becoming heavier, heavier, heavier. They requested Vibhishan that we want to worship 2 more days. So they worship for 3-4 days. So after that, Vibhishan requested, now the whatever day you suggested is over. So now, I want to take him. So then Lord told Vibhishan that I want to stay here only. I don't want to move, but you can daily come. Lanka is not far from here. You can daily come and take my darshan. So since that time, that Ranganath stayed there only. So that's the story about Ranganath. There is another story of Mularam, which was given to Narharidas, a disciple of Madhvacharya. Sorry, that deity was given to one Brahmana. Sorry. Uh, One day, what happened that Lord Ramchandra was absent from Ayodhya. He went for some meeting. One Brahmana came there, and Brahmana said, I want to take a darshan of Lord Ramchandra. But he said that Lord Ramchandra is not here. He will come after 8-9 days. Brahmana said, I will not take any food till I take the darshan of Lord Ramchandra. So Brahmana sat fasting, no, till Lord Ramchandra came. He sat there only. So after 8-9 days, Lord Ramchandra came and then asked Brahmana, what's the problem? The Brahmana said that, you didn't even eat. What's the problem? In a serious matter, he says, I just want to take your darshan. And I could not take your darshan, so I didn't take food. The Lord Ramchandra gave him deity. So that's the deity of Lord Ram, which was worshipped by his ancestor. Okay, his ancestor means, you understand, na? Before Lord Ramchandra appeared in that dynasty, his his ancestors were worshipping the same deity. So Lord gave him that deity. That now you don't have to worry. This is not different from me. So you can daily worship. You can daily see and take up food. So that way, Lord has sanctioned the worship of deity personally. Okay, so he has appeared in the visible form, just like Ranganath deity. If you see, that's not different from the Lord. Badri Vishal deity is Sakshat Lord. So there are 108 Divya Desam in this material world, which has self-manifested deity. Of course, Radha Govind Dev Ji and what is it called, Gopinath, then Madan Mohan, all deities were carved by the great grandson of Vajranath. Sorry, great grandson of Lord Krishna. His Vajranath. And he wanted to see Krishna. So Uttara has seen. So Uttara described how Lord Krishna looks like. He made a deity, and same way that way, we'll discuss this detail in. I'm not here. That way, deity worship is authorized. Okay, so one of the reason why Sad Goswamis were sent to Vrindavan by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 4 reasons we gave: to compile Bhakti literature from the Veda. Second was to set the standard of deity worship. Third was to set the example of how to perform pure devotional service. And fourth was to find out the lost pastime places of Lord Krishna. So one of the thing was deity worship. So deity worship is very, very important. So in Kali Yuga, there are, and even if you see, there are 4 yuga, there are different yug dharma. Yug dharma means there is a particular worshipping method through that you can realize your self-realization and God realization you can achieve. So in the Satyuga, it was mentioned that Dapare Krite Dhyayato Vishnu Tretayam Yajato Makhe Dapare Paricharyagam Kalita Dhari Kirtanam. So Kriteya Dhyayato Vishnu. So in Satyuga, it was mentioned that you have to meditate on Lord Vishnu. In Treta, Ayam Yajato Makhe. So you have to perform big yagyas like Aswamedh Yagya, Gomedh Yagya. There are so many yagyas. Then Dwapare Paricharyatmakam. So in Dwapar Yuga, you have to perform deity worship. And Kali Yuga, Kalita Dhari Kirtanat. In Kali Yuga, it's a chanting the holy name of the Lord is sufficient to liberate you, deliver you from the effect of Kali Yuga. Okay, but still, our mind is not so much focused. We have not got so much attraction for chanting the holy name of the Lord. So that's why, what happened that we are not so much that much attached with holy name. So that's why this deity form is given to purify our, and by that deity form we can purify our vision to see Krishna's spiritual form. and we can feel that we can directly serve the Lord in our present state, in present material state, and to gain attention and devotion in our devotional service. So many devotees who are directly engaged in deity worship, which are the deity which have been specially established by our acharya, or maybe with the pran pratishthan ceremony has happened. If they serve them, so if they go and sleep, the deity comes in a dream. That also happened. Okay. So deity worship is not idol worship, but is the worship of the Lord according to His instruction. So Lord personally, there are so many such a things that. Uh, so it's Lord has personally, it is as per His instruction. So I give an example of, yeah. So that deity I was talking about, Brahmana head, which was given by Lord Ramchandra. So later on, it was worshipped by the king of Orissa. So there was one person, he was, I think, the son of king, and he becomes the disciple of Madhvacharya. So his name was Narhari. Madhvacharya gave him name Narhari Das. So in Guru Dakshina, Madhvacharya told him to bring that, that Narhari Das has given up everything. No, he just surrendered to Madhvacharya. He was son of king, I think, and he given up everything. So then Madhvacharya instructed him that, okay, you don't marry, but you rule the kingdom and bring that deity of Mulram. So the name of the deity is Mulram. So he told him to bring that deity of Mulram. So then, after being a disciple of Madhvacharya, Narhari Das went back to his kingdom. Well, after going back to his kingdom, what happened that he ruled the kingdom. Then he got that deity and he gave it to Madhvacharya. And Madhvacharya worshipped for last 3 months before he departed from this world. And till some time ago, that deity was worshipped in the Udupi Krishna temple. Now I don't know. Last time I went, it was not there, but that Mulram deity is somewhere else. That deity is same deity. Okay, so I was talking about 108 Divya Desam. So all the Divya Desams are self-manifested deity, and their description is given in Puranas. Okay, so their Vishnu deities, and out of 108, 106 are on this earthly planet, and 2 are on heavenly planets. So if you want to take a darshan of 2 Divya Desam, then you have to leave this body. Okay. So I don't know. I have taken almost 25 Divya Desam darshans when I was in Bangalore. Especially, I took the advantage of staying in Bangalore, and I took a darshan Srirang, Kumbakonam, and all those areas, especially in Tamil Nadu. In Chennai, I took a darshan of Parthasati temple, not Radha Parthasati. Parth and Sarthi. So Krishna Arjun temple, there where Krishna is with Much. So there also there are almost 4 Divya Desams are there. On Vaikuntha Ekadasi, you find huge crowd, so much, heavy queue. To take darshan is very difficult, especially Vaikuntha Ekadasi. Not Mokshada Ekadasi, Vaikuntha Ekadasi. That comes after Mokshada Ekadasi, after 1 month or 15 days something. So that way the deity worship is authorized by Shastra. Okay. So you can see these are some picture. So even some places Prabhupada mentioned that if someone decorate that body and don't decorate deity, and in due course of time the people will become naked. So that's why nowadays there is so many naked movement, like what should I say, 2-piece cloth movement is going, especially the Western world. Only 2 piece of cloth. So then Prabhupada was mentioning that if you dress deity so nicely, then your beauty will increase. So Lord will reflect through you. How you decorate the Lord, that much beauty will also come within the person. Anyway, so our intention should not be that, but that's that is mentioned by one conversion. I forgot. So, what is the deity worship? So, the smiling face of the deity in the temple is beheld by the devotees as transcendental and spiritual, and the decoration of the body of the Lord is very much appreciated by the devotees. There are different procedure and rules and regulations which are followed in the temples of Vishnu. And devotee go there and see the deity, the vigraha, and spiritually enjoy the form because all of the deities are benevolent. The devotees express their mind before the deity, and in many instances the deity also give answer. But one must be very elevated devotee in order to be able to speak with the Supreme Lord. So Lord reciprocates. Huh? Okay, so this is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, 25th, 3rd canto, 25th chapter, 35th verse about deity worship. So sometimes the Lord informed deity, inform the devotee through dreams. So we have seen the example of Madhavendra Puri, right? So recently we visited Khirchor Gopinath and Srinathji in the where it is in Nathdwara. So that deity came in a dream of Madhavendra Puri, told him that, I am under the bushes, please come and rescue me. Then Madhavendra Puri went with the Annur village in Vrindavan while doing performing Govardhan Parikrama. So they came and found the deity, then they established the deity worship there. Then later on, deity was moved to Nathdwara and it is now worshipped by a follower of Vallabhacharya. So that way deity comes and instructs. Okay, then again, and then the deity sent to Madhvacharya. You can read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we had discussed this thing earlier. And told him, the deity told Madhavendra Puri that please go to South India and South India, bring a chandan for me. I am feeling so hot. Madhavendra Puri went to Puri, so to bring the chandan. So when he went by walk. He was almost 80 at that time, 80 years old. He didn't think how will he go, how he can go from Vrindavan to Puri. But he just started walking because deity has told him. So when he went and when he was coming after taking chandan, so he stayed near Gopinath. That Gopinath deity was personally carved by Lord Ramchandra. Okay. So then later on, the Rasikanand Prabhu, he is the incarnation of Anirudh, established another two deities in the same temple, which was Madan Mohan and Govind Devji. So again, that Gopal came in the dream of Madhavendra Puri and told him that please apply that chandan to Gopinath. Myself and Gopinath is not different. So then Madhavendra Puri applied that chandan. So that Chandan Yatra festival from Akshay Tritiya started for 21 days. So that is the beginning of Chandan Yatra. Okay, so you can read this story in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very nice story. This exchange of feeling between the deity and devotee are not understandable by atheists, but actually the devotee enjoys them. All of you might have felt. Okay. So deity definitely reciprocates. No? One day, sometime before only one devotee was telling me that one devotee was praying on the Sarat Purnima day that, I am attending so many meetings, all these meetings and all those things. And the devotee was praying to Lord that I don't want to attend all those meetings, but I want to attend your meeting of this Rasa dance meeting, not this kind of meetings. And suddenly Pujari was Sitaram Lakshman altar. He came to Radha Raspberry altar and वहाँ से flower लेको devotee को दे दिया. So the devotee told me. So the deity reciprocates. So we must pray to deity. We should learn all those things. Now, benefits of deity worship continue, saves from the hellish attraction. So only attention engage in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing and decorating the temple, accompanied by musical kirtan. Okay. And spiritual instruction from the scripture can save the common man from the hellish cinema attraction and rubbish sex song broadcasted everywhere by radios. During the time there was radio. So this is to, I remember one devotee told me that we should learn to, we should worship deity. If you don't worship deity, then we'll be attracted by opposite sex and we end up in miserable situation of unexpected married life and all those things. So then what happened, that infused mundane mind with spiritual inspiration. So visiting the temple of the deity and looking at the profusely decorated from the Lord, well dressed in well decorated, sanctified temple naturally infused the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration. I remember when I started coming to temple in the beginning, 2011, when I was studying IIT. So it was, IIT has so much attraction, opposite sex, and so many things. The mind get agitated. What to do, We naturally know that it's not good, but still things were coming in the mind. I cannot stop. What to do? And even the school and colleges, so many bad things have been taught as per the modern, on the name of modern education, sex education, and so many things. So mind get disturbed, and somewhere, somehow, artificially we have been engaged without partner and all those things. How to get rid of all those things was very difficult. Then I remember, came to temple, started dancing in front of the deity, and things just left. That was the only solution. Okay. So this is what, this is what Prabhupada is telling, that can this kind of thing can save the common man from the hellish cinema attraction and rubbish sex song broadcasted everywhere by radios, and naturally infuse the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration. Good engagement for gross body, the path of Archana or worshipping the Lord in the temple involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord. Basically, what is Ananya Chittasa Nanya Gamina? So yesterday we saw, I think, when did we saw? Yeah, yesterday we saw in Bhagavad Gita class that we have to engage our Chetana in the service of the Lord. So there, Prabhupada gave an example of Ambarish Maharaj, that how he engaged his senses in the service of the Lord. If you could remember, so here it was mentioned, Save Mana Krishna Padaya Padaravindayor Vachamsi Vekunta Gunanu Marnave Taro Harer Mandir Marchanadeshu. So these things are mentioned. So about engaging our senses in the service of the Lord. So I'm just reading again that we should follow the example of Ambarish Maharaj. What he did, King Ambarish fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engage his word in describing the abode of the Lord, his hand in cleaning the temple of the Lord, his ear in hearing the pastime of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotee, his nostril in smelling the flavor of flower offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy place where his temple is situated, his head is head in offering. Specifically, the word is mentioned Mandir Marjana Desu. Mandir means deity worship, specifically comes there. Okay. So this way we have to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. Purify our existence, our heart will be purified. The more we are engaged in decorating the deities, washing the room, the more we are engaged in deity worship, the more we become purified. That is practical. And relief from sense agitation. So freedom from anxiety of mind and agitation of senses. So if one simply deposit all of his or her loving propensity onto deity of the Krishna, immediately they are relieved of anxiety due to material sense agitation. So then when we engage in deity worship, it gives constant remembrance of the Lord, engagement for the soul. So Archana Marg or devotional part described in Pancharatra system of devotional service for worshiping the deity in the temple makes the devotee think constantly of the Lord. That is samadhi or trance. One who practices in this way cannot deviate from the service of the Lord and makes him perfect in the mission of human life. Purport Srimad Bhagavatam 4:8. Okay. So then enable ones to go back to Godhead, get spiritual body by touching the Lord. Archana Paddhati, daily worship of the deity, provides an opportunity to touch the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus it enables ones to be fortunate enough to get a spiritual body and go back to Godhead. Okay, so these are the benefits. Imperceptible liberation. So get liberated by worshipping and serving Lord. So Srila Prabhupada explains, simply by seeing the beautiful decoration of the deity in the temple, the devotee is absorbed in the thought of him and loses all other consciousness. Simply by fixing oneself in Krishna consciousness, engaging the senses in the service of the Lord, one is imperceptibly liberated. Simply fixing oneself in Krishna consciousness. So even the third class devotee who is not advanced in knowledge of absolute truth sees the Lord in the temple, simply offer obeisance with a great devotion. So we'll see another, yesterday we saw 20 angas of bhakti. So another 44 angas we'll see maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So there it is mentioned, I think, I don't know, there or somewhere else, that accepting the garland of the Lord, touching the deity, especially in the Kartik month, and everything is mentioned there. Even the third class devotee who is not advanced in knowledge of the absolute truth sees the Lord in the temple, simply offer obeisance with a great devotion. Think of the Lord, brings forth flower and fruit to offer to deity, becomes perceptibly liberated. She becomes liberated. So that's why deity is very, very important. So Jiv Goswami has enlisted 32 offenses. Sorry, Rup Goswami has enlisted 32 offenses. Okay. So these are found in the Agamas. Agamas and Nigamas are there. These are another level, another scripture. So which are those offenses? Entering the Lord's temple in palanquin or with shoes, not observing the festival of the deity, not offering obeisance in front of the Lord. So we must offer the obeisance. Even just by offering the obeisance, one will be purified. Offering prayers to the Lord in unclean state or after having eaten without washing properly. Okay, offering respect with one hand. So most of the time ऐसा होता है एक हाथ से हम प्रणाम कर देते हैं. but we should offer proper respect. Circumambulating in front of the Lord means भगवान की परिक्रमा करनी है, लेकिन भगवान के सामने गोल गोल नहीं घूमना है. So clasping the hand on the knee in front of deity, जैसे कभी कभी हम, anyway, sometimes you will not be able to avoid, someone has sitting problem and all. So these are okay, that's fine, but no, sometimes someone is sitting issue and all, so then that is different thing. The lying down in front of deity is offense. Eating in front of deity is offense. Telling lies in front of deity. Speaking loudly in front of deity. Gossiping in front of the deity. Crying in front of deity. Quarreling in front of deity. And fighting in front of deity. So all these are offenses. Then thanking others in front of deity. So you are praising someone else in front of deity. So that is not good. Except some guru and all. That is another point. There may be some Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, that is different thing. Like, who are advanced, not. Then saying cruel word in front of deity, covering oneself with the blanket in front of deity. Blanket means fur का जो बना होता है ना, especially fur, जो wool and all. Criticizing others in front of deity, praising others in front of deity, and using vulgar language in front of deity. Passing air in front of deity, especially many are applicable when you go inside altar. So sometimes people cannot avoid this thing. What can we do? Offering less items when capable of offering more. So of course Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Puspam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prachati Tadaham Bhakti Upaharita Prayatat Asnami Prayatatman. So he has mentioned that he will be happy just by offering patra means leaf, tulsi leaf, flower, water, and fruits. He will be happy by all these things. Okay, but doesn't mean that you have to. If you have capacity to offer more than that, so you should not just offer that. You should offer as per your capacity. You should offer as per the capacity. So that is what the point here, offering less item when capable of offering more. So we should offer as per our capacity. Eating food without offering the Lord. So first offering should go to Lord. So here it is clearly written. Okay, one should never lie before the deity. One should not talk very loudly before deity. One should not talk with other before deity. One should not cry or howl before the deity. One should not quarrel or fight before the deity. One should not chastise anyone before the deity. One should not be charitable to the beggars before deity. One should not speak very harshly to others before deity. One should not wear a fur blanket before deity. Fur. It's wool, right? One should not eulogize or praise anyone else before deity. One should not speak any ill name before the deity. One should not pass air before deity. One should not fail to worship deity according to one's means. So we should offer as per our capacity. This is what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. It is stated that Lord is satisfied. Some devotee offer him even a leaf or little water. This formula prescribed by the Lord is universally applicable even for the poorest men. So even poor men can also worship the Lord. So when you read Krishna book, I forgot who was that, Bahulasva and I forgot who was the Brahmana name. Bahulasva was the king and there was another Brahmana, Shrutadev. So they were in Mithila, there was a king named Bahulasva, and there was another Brahmana. He was very poor. His name was Shrutadev. So one day, Lord, with his all associate and especially the sages like Vyasdev, Narad Muni, he went to meet these devotees. So Lord simultaneously expanded into two forms. So simultaneously enter in the house of Bahulasva and house of Shrutadev. And even he empowered sages also to expand in two forms. So simultaneously the Krishna and sages were present in house of Krishna and these sages were simultaneously present in the house of Bahulasva and Brahmana Shrutadev. So Bahulasva treated the Lord with so gorgeously as per his capacity, and whereas Shrutadev has nothing to offer to Lord, so he just offer the Lord nice sitting place, means mat, and offer the water, and he was just happy. He was massaging the feet of the Lord. He washed the feet of the Lord and sages. He was happy, and Lord was happy with both because they worship the Lord as per their capacity. So the story comes in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. I think 80, maybe 84, 85, somewhere after, between 80 to 90 chapter. Okay. This formula prescribed by the Lord is universally applicable even for the poorest man, but that does not mean that one who has sufficient means to worship the Lord very nicely should also adopt this method and try to satisfy the Lord simply by offering water and leaf. If he has sufficient means, he should offer nice decoration, nice flower, nice foodstuff, and observe all ceremony. Especially today, I was reading Kartik Mahatmya. So if we worship the Lord, especially offering the lamb, even to any Vishnu deity, and by giving, performing charity and all, so person will be liberated just by observing Kartik Vrat. Today only I was reading glories of Kartik Vrat. Anyway, so it is not that one should not try to satisfy the Supreme Lord with, okay, so we read this thing, Lord with little water and leaf, and for himself spend all his money in sense gratification. If he has capacity, he should offer. He should not become conjuice or like that. And one should not eat anything that is not offered first to Krishna. The point here is first offer to Krishna. One should not fail to offer fresh fruit and grain to Krishna according to the season. Nowadays, सारे season में सारे fruit मिलते हैं. After food has been cooked, no one should be offered any foodstuff unless it is first offered to deity. Primary importance is deity. One should not sit with his back towards the deity. One should not offer obeisance silently to the spiritual master, or in other words, one should recite aloud while offering the obeisance. Even when we offer obeisance to deity, we should recite a prayers. Just like when you offer obeisance to Gaurnita, you can offer the prayers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaurti Se Nama. Nityanand Prabhu ka bhi verses sloka hai. Then you can say Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta. Of course, Hare Krishna you can speak everywhere. If you don't know anything, just speak Hare Krishna Mahamantra while offering the obeisance to deity. At least there some sound should come. Then when you offer the obeisance to Krishna and Radha Krishna, you can offer this pranam mantra, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste, then Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavanaswari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Then Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then if you offer the obeisance to Lord Ramchandra, then Ramaya Rambhadraya Ramchandraya Vedeswara Gunathaya Nathaya Sitapate Namano. So that way you can offer the pranam mantra to Sitaram. And of course, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is always there. Then when you offer obeisance to Narsimha Dev, you can offer this Namaste Narsimhaya Pladala Daine Hiranyakasipu Vaksha. Or you can just speak that Tavakara Kamala Varena Kamadhuta Sringa. So you can, while offering obeisance, that's why when in the morning altar opens, at least 3 minutes is given to offer obeisance. So one should not fail to offer some praise in the presence of the spiritual master. So when we meet Guru, at least we should, or praise spiritual master that, about his good activity. And one should not praise himself before the spiritual master. हमारी बड़ाई नहीं करनी चाहिए. One should not deride the demigod before the deity. We should not offend what should I say, that demigods. This is the list of 32 offenses. Beside this, there are number of offenses which are mentioned in the Varaha Purana. They are as follow. So we have 6 minutes. I will just read them. One should not touch the deity in the dark room. 1 minute. Okay, one should not touch the deity in the dark room. One should not fail to strictly follow the rules and regulations in worshipping deity. One should not enter the temple of the deity without first making some sound. तो बेल आता है ना, बेल बजाते हैं. So we should at least enter the temple. We should knock the door. So at least Lord will be happy to receive the deity. There is another story. Once upon a time, Bhugu Muni enter. I have heard this from someone. I don't know how much authentic it is. Anyway, so I don't want to speak that. Okay, so one should not offer any foodstuff to the deity which has been seen by dogs or other lower animals. One should not break silence while worshipping. One should not pass urine or evocate while engaging in worshipping. One should not offer incense without offering some flower. Unless flower without any useless flower without any fragrance should not be offered. One should not fail to wash his teeth very carefully every day. One should not enter the temple directly after sexual intercourse. One should not enter the temple after touching a woman during her menstrual period. One should not enter the temple after touching the dead body. One should not enter the temple wearing garments of red or blue color or garment which are unwashed. One should not enter the temple after seeing the dead body. Once means you have to take a bath and all. Anyway, specifically this is meant for altar. Huh? One should not pass air within the temple. One should not be angry within the temple. One should not enter the temple after visiting crematorium. Anyway, this you can read, but just as a formality I'm reading. One should not belch before deity. So until one has fully digested his food, he should not enter the temple. One should not smoke marijuana. So these are, this is especially for deity worship, not for those who are chanting. घर का standard अलग है, but specifically this is meant for those deity which have been installed after pran pratishtha, with pran pratishtha. One should not take opium. One should not enter the deity room or the body of the deity after having smeared all oil over his body. One should one should not show disrespect to scripture teaching about the supremacy of the Lord. One should not introduce any opposing scripture. One should not chew betel nut before deity. One should not offer a flower that was kept in unclean pot. One should not worship the Lord while sitting on the bare floor. So don't worry, this is for deity. At least don't worry. There are just I'm reading this thing. So don't feel so much. Just we have to chant. Okay. So one must have sitting place or carpet. So directly floor पे रखना चाहिए. Actually आसानी से हो जाता है ये सब चीजें. Don't have to worry. One should not touch the deity before one has completed taking bath. Of course, वो तो simple है. One should not decorate his forehead with 3-line tilak जो आता है ना, Sevites. One should not enter the temple without washing his hand and feet. Okay. So there are other rules are that one should not offer food stuff which is cooked by non-Vaishnava. One should not worship the deity before non-devotees, and one should not engage himself in the worship of the Lord while seeing non-devotees. तो मंदिर में जो आते हैं ज्यादातर डिवोटी होते ही है. If you know, that is different thing. One should not worship the deity without first worshipping the Ganpati to drive away all impediments. So in this relation, Prabhupada has given something. So we follow that. I can show you something that this as he mentioned specifically to avoid so many demigod worship, because there are so many conception about demigod worship. Prabhupada has introduced, he didn't disrespect Ganpati saying this thing, but he wanted to specifically establish. He didn't wanted to make hodgepodge. Hodgepodge means anyway people are confused about who is God, specifically in Hindu religion. They were confused who is God. To specifically distinguish that, actually, if you read, I forgot, recently I read somewhere about Kartik Mahatvira. So there it is mentioned that color of Mother Yashoda is blue. Her color is also like Krishna, because she was always absorbed in thinking Krishna. She has also got the blue color. Okay. So then, and I heard one lecture also. I think Bhakti Maharaj was telling that. So still the Krishna, when we see that Yashoda Mai and Damodar Lila pastime, Yashoda Mai is uh, not blue. She's just white color. Why? So Prabhupada just wanted to. So Prabhupada didn't contradict it while making the color of Yashoda Mai. He just wanted to distinguish Krishna separately from all other things. So that's why, just to emphasize that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he established all these things that the Ganesh Puja may not be performed, especially in the temple, like, because people will not take all these things. And so, for worshipping Ganesh is concerned, that is not necessary, not that it should be done on a regular basis. If you like, you can pray to Ganpati for removing all impediments in the path of Krishna consciousness. That you can do if you like. So he's not contradicting what Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Devotion. But there are so much hodgepodge, especially in India and all. So people are think that Ganpati is only the Lord, Supreme Lord. Okay. So Ganesha is one name of Krishna. That is different thing. Okay. But this Gana means group, assembly, and a Pati means the controller of one particular group. That is called Ganpati. Okay. So he is a leader of some particular group. So there are so many Ganeshas like that. Okay. So he is not offending that way, but just to distinguish that who is Lord, he has established this thing. He didn't wanted to bring hodgepodge. Hodgepodge means so mix up, people are already confused and they will get more confused and all those things. So this is again, anyway, we'll continue this tomorrow. Here say, regarding Ganesh Puja, I have received some letter from person requesting to also perform it. I have explained to them that ultimately it is not required, but if you have some incentive to get the blessings of Ganesha in order to get the huge sum of money or for service of Krishna, then it can be done. But privately, I have instructed them that if they want to do it, they must send me at least. So he just wanted to say that. Anyway, you understand. He didn't wanted to emphasize too much on this. Okay. So he's not disrespecting, but he wanted to specifically emphasize who is Supreme Lord. So that's the reason, because it was so confusing. Even there were so many versions of Bhagavad Gita, some written by atheists, so many other things, and all those things were going on. So just to firmly establish who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's why he has taken this step, not to disrespect anyone, not not to disrespect Ganesh or anything, just to establish, to clarify, to give a clear understanding who should be the supreme object of worship. That's why he has given. Okay. Anyway, remaining we'll discuss tomorrow. So just I'll finish. One should not worship the deity without. This is different thing. So he's not contradicting, but he saw there are so many confusion. So in the Brahma Samhita it is stated Ganpati worship the lotus feet of Lord Narasimha Dev, and in that way has become auspicious for the devotee in clearing out all the impediments. Therefore, all devotees should worship Ganpati. The deity should not be bathed in the water that has been touched by the nails or finger. So when so आपको पानी गर्म करे तो चेक करना है तो एक ग्लास से बाहर लो और चेक करो. So when a devotee is perspiring, he should not engage himself in worshipping the deity. Similarly, there are many other prohibitions. For example, one should not cross the step over flower offered to the deity. So जो डीटी को फ्लावर ऑफर के नीचे गिरो तो हम कुछ उठा लेते हैं, उनके ऊपर पैर नहीं रखते और we don't overstep over. So nor should one take a vow in the name of God. तो हम ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए अरे भगवान के सामने आके ये कसम खाओ, क्या बोलते कसम खाने की बात करते हैं ना. क्या बोलते हैं, कसम चाहे ले लो खुदा की कसम, ठीक है, गाना है ऐसा कुछ। तो भगवान के नाम पे ये सब नहीं करना चाहिए। So these are all different kind of offenses in the matter of execution of devotional service, and one should be careful to avoid them. Okay. Okay, anyway, rest of the thing we'll cover tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anyway, don't be scared by all these things. It's very Prabhupada is given so simple. You'll be easily able to follow. Chant 16 down. Follow for regulative principle. No tea, coffee, no onion, garlic, no mushroom, and that's it. And follow for regulative principle. That's sufficient. But this is specifically those who are engaged in temple worship. And by the mercy of the deity, we'll be able to do. It happens. Many are doing. Don't worry. Okay. So thank you very much. I end here Nectar of Devotion class. And I'll continue with Bhagavad Gita class in few minutes. So if someone is there